Friday, and I am here today showing you the future. Okay, you guys know we don't do our interviews this way, but this is what we aspire to do in the future for 4TV. Currently, we got a place, and we decided to use it to do this interview. And today, the reason why I'm uploading this interview on Friday is because on Saturday I'll be traveling. I'm sorry for the inconvenience that this may have caused to any one of you. So today, I'm sitting with a guest who would rather introduce themselves. Okay, dear guest.
So my name is Lesego, the leadership, future SRC president, future vice chancellor and principal of the Vet and future minister of education. My pronouns are him, and his, and I identify myself as a queer person.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. That was a very lovely and long introduction that needs to be decoded. And also, can you please guys forgive us for the up and down of the mic, because we currently have one mic. Like I said, I'm showing you the future, so it will be better than this, but it's just like, yeah, what it's gonna look like. And with your introduction, you said your name, and then you said other things that I think you aspire to become. Before we go into leadership, future SRC, vice chancellor, I want us to decode queer. What does it mean to be queer, and when did you find out that you were queer? You were part of that group.
The conversation about queer, it's always a debate, it's always a long discussions and everything. It's all about perspective, right? According to my perspective, and well, commonly used, queer means you are not straight, right? We don't have a clear straight definition about queer, but queer means straight. I only found out that I'm queer formally when I come to the university. We got to explore a lot of stuff. Then I realized, okay, I'm falling under the part of the queer community. Yes.
So which label do you get under the queer community? Because as I understand it, it's broad, it has trans, it has bisexual people, gay people, transgender people, and many more that I might not be aware of currently. Which one do you fall under? And yeah, and which one do you just fall under?
Okay, I fall under the G, and the G stands for gay. Yes.
Have you ever dated a girl?
Okay, it's a funny story, but I did back home. Hence, I've said I started exploring much about the queer community when I came here to the university. Yes, I once did a lot of them, dear.
And how was the experience in dating girls?
To be quite honest, it was awesome, it was fun, but I guess sometimes it happened that it was just an influence from the community and the environment that I was staying in, because it was very hard for a person to date a same gender person because of the stereotypes and the social norms that we believe in. Yes, so but the experience was good, it was great, I enjoyed those moments.
Have you had your first boyfriend so far, Lesego?
That's funny though, but yeah, I did once. But then it was just for a little time because we're still experiencing. There were a lot of red flags, and everything. And yeah, because I'm still learning. I'm still new in this thing, and which is I'm interested, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for that. Let's just move away from umjolo because I think umjolo unyisa wonke umuntu out there. So right now, can we go to leadership? You mentioned leadership as future SRC, vice chancellor of the Wits. Those are big dreams, right? So I want us to dive into that conversation. Are you currently in any leadership portfolio?
I'm currently in a position whereby I've been appointed to become a mentor for first days who are coming to university life in 2023. Right, so my plans when I'm becoming a mentor, so at first as part of the queer community, I've seen that there is a big part of inequality between heterosexuals and queer people, mostly looking at my former house where I was staying. So I did propose to open an office called GTO, Gender Transformation Office. The purpose of the office is to provide efforts to change gender and social norms, to address social inequalities and empower privileges between heterosexuals and the queer communities.
That's quite interesting. I like that office. So what would you want students to help you with? Because what I know is if you want to add a club to the various societies and clubs, you need to have a certain number of signatures, and you also need to have the student numbers of those students that gave you their signatures, and then maybe you can speak about opening a club. So with this office that you're currently wanting to open, what support do you need from the students?
So looking at my experiences when I was in my first year, which I'm currently in, going back to where I was staying, in the house when they welcomed us and they introduced us to the culture of the house, they even told us that they have GTO in the house, but it wasn't that active. So the house where I was staying, everyone was like, your res, it's nice, it sings beautiful, but it's so homophobic and toxic masculinity. It focuses on indoda, must. Basically, it's not only where I was staying, but all male res in general, right?
They have
so
something.
Exactly, and it looks like they are promoting what? Homophobia. Right. So my aim to introduce the GTO in culture is to change that. As the fourth industrial revolution, we are growing into a community whereby we need to accept everything and know that the world is changing. No, banyana ba technology ba tlhella, most of the queer community is coming out. Right. So in terms of support, I did manage to speak with some of the queer community members in the house, hear their cries. What was the problem? What was the issue in the house? Then they all raised the issue of toxic masculinity, right? So in order to work on that issue, hence I've said I'm introducing the GTO office. I'm going to try to advocate equality and inclusivity in the house, right? But not only share the message in the house, but also spread it to other races, not only male races and female races in the universities, because most races face the same issue of inequality and inclusivity, right? So my aim to the GTO office, I'm going to try advocate inequality and inclusivity by doing what? Spreading the message when we're welcoming the first years, letting them know that in this university life, you're going to experience this kind of problem. In this university life, we are there to give you support. As GTO, we are there to give you support as queer community. We are not only queer community, but also as heterosexuals. We are there to give you support. We are there to provide anything that you need in terms of what? Health, in terms of feeling safe, having a safe space. So yeah.
That's quite a mouthful, and that's quite interesting, and I appreciate the fact that you seeing these problems, you guys are coming together and coming with solutions on how to solve them, which is a very good thing. So in terms of introducing the GTA, I personally don't think it's a matter of introducing it, since you're saying it's already was there. I think it's a matter of making it more active, bringing about change that was supposed to be brought by this leadership position, and also making sure that people are aware that there's such a thing and what it does and how they can get help from it. And also parenting a toxic masculinity. We shouldn't tolerate anything. Maybe also others may argue that it shouldn't be a matter of accepting. I think it is important to respect everyone with their differences, because you are the way you are, because you're just the way you are. For those that are whatever they think that they are better than others, and that should not be right. Equality should be promoted. Yes, we are different, but we are equal.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let me I want to add on that, right? So basically, some of the problems that are being raised in terms of that, in terms of the office of GTO. So the person, according to my perspective, the person who must lead the GTO office must be part of the queer community, because it's going to be a different thing whereby you know about the queer community, but you don't have an experience, right? So some of the issues that are being raised is that people who are leading the queer community don't have much of the experience and the knowledge about the queer community. That's why most queer people cry out loud, they have they're suffering from issues in their house and all of that. So our aim also is not only to change culture, we are not asking for acceptance, but we're only asking for respect and inclusivity, right? If they want to be educated, we are going to educate them. It's fine. They must also know, they must also be aware with it. Okay, before I judge them, before I become homophobic towards them, actually, what is gay? What is LGBTQI plus? Because it's a long, even them, on that abbreviation of LGBTQIA plus, there's a one called an ALLY, ALLY, meaning that you are not part of the community, but you support the community, right? So we're gonna raise a lot of awareness on that. We're gonna make sure that each and every first year, who's queer, who's heterosexual, find it a safe space. If they get in any trouble of gender related, we are there to help, we are there to support.
I hear you, and I appreciate the fact that you want to raise this issue of there being equality between the heterosexual and the people in the queer group, right? However, I also would want to know, is there equality within the queer group? Because I do think that maybe there isn't, maybe there is, but please elaborate on that.
So we have a phrase called charity begins at home, right? Yeah, so we cannot be loved if we don't love ourselves. But there's a lot of discrimination also in the community itself. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot, especially when you come to a new environment like the university. I am from a different background, you are from a different background. When you go to university, we're also going to have another environment whereby we need to explore and everything. So basically, I'll come from home and be like, when I get there, I'm gonna be that girl, you know, with heels, skirts and everything. So basically, gayness, it's not limited to skirts and boys in heels, you know, and everything like that. But it's being who you are, right? But then, when you get to a place whereby there's an investment and everything, you get different friends, pressure, discrimination, and being forced, you know what, I'm gonna get buy this heels and buy this skirt, but at the end of the day, you are not so comfortable in it. So it's not only limited to the clothes, it's not only limited to expressing yourself, but you need to know who you are, who you are socializing with. And as a queer community also, we must also support each other. We can't be fighting against homophobic, we can't be fighting against discrimination while we also discriminate each other. Exactly, while we also having jealousy towards each other. Look, you are having, it's not like when someone's attracted to you more than me, means that you are beautiful and I'm not beautiful, which goes back to self-confidence, right, within the queer community. So we also, the GTO office will also provide education within the queer community itself, that you know what, there's a lot of pressure in here. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of discrimination. So we need to change that. So if we can begin charity at home, it's gonna be easier for us. It's gonna be easier for us to limit the homophobic that we get from other people, the discrimination, the stereotypes and everything, and the indoor masks, the social norms, and yes.
This question I'm about to ask reminds me of a question that is quite similar to the question that was asked at a Miss World pageant, when one of the participants, or in fact 2 participants, were asked if they think there should be a separate toilet for transgender people. So my question to you is, do you think that there should be a separate race for queer men? Or maybe, queer people instead of saying men?
Okay, so I get your question, right? Your question is there must be a separate bathroom for, this is for queer, this is for heterosexuals, and what's not, right? So, but
I'm talking in terms of residents.
Of residents, yeah. So basically, when you come in at an environment of a university, we have only women race, only male race, right? So in terms of the bathroom, so basically we wanna promote inclusivity, right? So, and equality, and also having to feel a safe space. So I don't think that one is gonna be, it's like it's it's a question that can go abroad and has a lot of perspective and discussions, right? But according to my perspective, I don't think it's gonna be necessary because it's gonna be unfair to the heterosexuals, right? It's gonna be like, as queer, we want special attention. It's gonna be like everything of us must be so special that we even have our own bathrooms, right? But I don't think it's necessary. It's okay for us to share the bathroom with the heterosexuals so that they can also feel comfortable around us. Going back to history, for an example, we had black only this side, white only this side. That why arose apartheid, like the whites, exactly, the whites don't want the black and everything. So it's similar to queer and heterosexuals. So it's, for according to my perspective, it's fine if we share the bathroom. It's nothing major. It will make us feel comfortable. If as a queer you don't feel comfortable about sharing your bathroom, so in versus there are different kinds of bathrooms. There's bathroom in each and every corridor, right? If you don't feel comfortable in this bathroom because there's that specific person or whatever who's homophobic towards you, you can go to another one, right? You can go to another one, or you can come to us, to the GTO, and can provide assistance, tell you, okay, in order for you to become comfortable and feel accepted, even though you don't want to be accepted, but respect is the most crucial component that we need, right? Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to hear a young person speak so loudly and so confidently about a cause that they believe in and about prejudice that they have identified in a certain aspect in this life that we're navigating in. It's hard. We're all trying to make it out. So don't make it harder for the next person by being the way that you are, mean or maybe homophobic, like you said. You did mention that you only became queer, you've always been queer, that's wrong for me to say, sorry. You only started accepting this identity of being queer once you walked into the university, because the place that you're coming back from is a place that is still maybe conservative. It doesn't allow certain practices. So now that you're going home, how are you going to navigate that? How are you going to live at home with the people in the same community whom you are saying this community has that inequality and it's very homophobic? And maybe when you were home in June, how was life then after you have accepted the identity of being queer and started living to that lifestyle, or freely? I would say that freely, because obviously maybe before that you were not living freely. Tell us how that is working, or how that is going to work, how you plan to make it work.
So going back home, as a queer activist, I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am. I'm not going to be ashamed of expressing who I am, because in South Africa already we are accepted constitutionally. So constitutionally speaking, in 1993, the African National Congress in the Bill of Rights endorsed legal recognition of same-sex marriage, meaning queer marriages, right? Until then, when the same-sex marriage was legalized in South Africa, when the Civil Unit Act 2006 came into force on the 30th of November. So this means that I have to go home as a queer activist. When I get home, I need to also educate those heterosexual people, not only to be accepted, but also to get respect, that heterosexuals, queer people are still there. They are living. They are part of who we are. It's not a disease. It's not anything related to spiritual devil things, because Christian people, they believe that there is demonic and everything, but it's
not contagious.
It's not contagious. You are born with it. Exactly. You are born. Exactly. That's the point. So when I go back home, my aim is to educate while entertaining, right? So I'm gonna do it, maybe create go to the community center, create a play whereby we add heterosexuals and queer people while educating, promoting queer knowledge to those who don't know about it. Yeah, so going to educate while we entertain. That's more of like reaching out to other people who don't know what is queer is, and maybe they might be also interested. And also some others, they do know that they are queer, but because of the long abbreviations and everything, they don't know where do they fall. So they're gonna need that education, right? Some of them, they know that, you know what, I'm gay, but because of the indotamast, the social norms and the gender norms, I'm gonna pretend and be who I am, not who I am. That's why hence we say that as the GTO office that is coming, when festers are coming, gonna teach them and help them to realize actually who I am, right? You might be gay but not interested in the same sex gender sexually but physically, right? Those things, they are there, they have their own names: pansexual, asexual, this and this and that. Yeah, so my main aim is to, when I get home, educate them, let them know, because some of them I know they were like, university's gone, it's changed you and everything, but I know that my aim is to do what? Educate them when I get back home.
That's quite interesting. Education is the key to success, but also in this case, education is also the key to making sure that we are living in a safe community. Speaking of educating them, I think it's a good thing that you have plans and your plans are foreseeable. It's not like you're planning to do the impossible. It has been done. If you go to the right channels, you will be able to get the right assistance. Speaking of the last sentence that you said people may say that university has changed you. That's quite interesting. You were at a university space, that's where you found yourself. Do you know of people in your community, or in your community specifically, that found themselves or that came out as queer but had not been to any university space, had not been exposed to the university life?
Yeah, I may say so. Like back home, I used to have gay friends, but in secret, you know. It was like that thing of, as you call it these days, I'm a after 9, you know, and the DLs, you know. So yeah, but then I used to have those gay friends who were able to be free and take that courage to say I'm coming out. But I didn't even think it's necessary for a person to say I'm coming out. Once your family knows that you're gay, even the thing is, parents do know that, you know, my son, my daughter, there's something off, but they're just in denial because of what? Social norms and social genders. That's why the GTO is going to provide what? A change in social norms and social genders, gender norms, right? So it's gonna help those who will come out before they even come to the university life. Well, take it from me, I also found myself when I was at the university life, because I felt so comfortable and in a safe space, right? So yeah, that's where I started coming out, you know. Even though back home they don't know, but I know that now as a queer activist, I'm gonna let them know, even though I don't think it's very much important, like this thing which I'm coming out. As long as the family knows, it's fine. They do know, but they're just in denial. The key here is to do what? Educate them. Educate them, teach them about who you are. Yes.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much for that. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I do have siblings. I do have siblings, 2 young girls. So on my father's side, we are a lot. I don't wanna lie. I don't know the number. Yes, my dad has been busy, so I don't wanna lie. So, but then on my mother's side, I'm the firstborn, the only boy, you know, the creme de la creme of the house, you know. And I also have 2 young siblings. The older one, she's 16, the other one, she's turning 11 next year. So yeah, I think it's also gonna be important for me to let them know while they're still growing, especially the one who's at 16 years, because she's gonna be easily influenced by the world itself. She's gonna be easily influenced, and she's gonna go with the people who say gay lives don't matter, queer lives don't matter and everything. So it's gonna be important and crucial for me to let them know about queer life.
Yes, I appreciate that, especially seeing that they are growing in a community that you actually also grew up in, and you know the challenges that you people in that community face, everyone at large, including queer people, right? Yeah, I appreciate that. I wanted to know if you had siblings, because I was just thinking of that thing of if you were the firstborn, which so happened that you are, they are learning from you. So you being so big on education is very important for them as people that are looking up to you, so that they know they are directed. You understand what I'm saying? They are being led by elite that knows what they are doing. Oh yeah, so I want us to dive into SRC. So when are you planning to run for SRC? And which portfolio would you actually want to run for?
So before we go to that question, I just want to add on that, right? And saying that to all people who are homophobic, remember what I say constitutionally. We are protected. You come to me, I come to you constitutionally, so you're gonna deal with the law, okay? So hence I'm a first year, right? I got exposed to the university, right? I got good channels, I got good people, I met good people, so I became interested in becoming SRC president, leadership, because of I symbolize myself as having those characteristics of leadership, and I see myself as the SRC president doing much more for students at large, because I know that I can manage that, or I can do it. But even if I don't be an SRC president, but I would like to also work under the Office of Gender and Transformation Office under SRC for student at large. Yeah, that's my goal and that's my aim.
To wrap up this conversation, which has been lovely, very informative, very educational, by the way, and you have got a very good personality, man. It's nice to be in your presence. Sure. So I wouldn't, if it were up to me, we wouldn't leave, of which we would love to have you again if a chance arises in the future to educate us more on what you would have learned by that time. So to wrap up, I just want to know maybe some of the things that you would have loved to change in terms of what are your regrets about in the past, what are your achievements also, and maybe your last message to young people out there, anything regarding anything.
So I don't regret anything so far. I really don't.
That's very bold.
So it's very bold. I've expressed a lot. I've experienced a lot under the queer community, and I'm very grateful.
So guys, that's a wrap from 4TV. Thank you so much, Lesego, for coming. We have had a lot, we have learned a lot. I've learned also a lot, and I want us to take home these messages to respect everyone. There's so many messages that were said, but I'm just highlighting what I think is much more important, that regardless of whether you accept the next person or your religion says what, but it is important to show respect, because we're all human beings out here trying to make it out alive, right? So yeah, until we meet Saturday next week, stay cute, stay blessed, bye.